I've been in the same field I've been educating the youths about environmental conservation, the effect of climate change at the rural area, because I come from around. I come from Chuka, and so I've been teaching the members of the community about environmental conservation and effects of climate change. So this was an extension of my knowledge and skills I have in the field of climate change. And I feel now, as we finish this program today, I have a great experience to go back to the community and nurture some few youths who can confront the issues of climate justice, climate change, and be able to walk this journey together. So, studying here today, I'm a literally changed person because my knowledge and skills in the field of climate justice, climate change, climate just transition, climate financing, adaptation financing, mitigation financing, effects of climate change in a human being to animals.
Wrap it up, Kenneth.
And in how it relates in matters health. So I feel that the skills and the wisdom I've been able to gather from this 2 weeks discussion will be of great impact to myself and to the whole community where I live. So great honor and gratitude to Pakja, to Summer School, to Dr. Midhika Mwenda, to Chuka University as well for allowing us to be in this platform, and to everyone, to every financier, to every partner who made this event success. Thank you very much. May God bless you all.
We said if you're clapping, we are clapping. Are you appreciating him? Okay. Right, so you'll allow me to just quickly move to the official program because we're not doing too well on time. Thank you for telling your friends to come join. Our VIPs were just joining us. Thank you. We were waiting for you. We couldn't start without you. So welcome everybody to this official launch of the Accer Awards. For those who might not be familiar, the Accer Awards simply look to award outstanding journalists across Africa who are doing amazing work sharing the stories and the amazing things that you do with your communities. Those innovative solutions, those capacity building sessions that you do in your societies, the awareness things that you do, the innovations at ground level, how you connect. So it's actually sharing what you've done for the last 2 weeks here. So as we look to launch this, there has to be a theme to every official launch. And what is the main theme for this year? Who knows? What's the biggest discussion around climate this year? You can say it louder. Say it again. So what do we want? What do we want? I see you've been very good students for the last couple of days. So that's the theme for this year. And we're looking to empower you to also share this. As this being the official launch, we also want you to take these stories to your communities. We want you to connect with the journalists that you share these stories with. We want you to share your own stories because we're all journalists in our own way, right? We've been sharing and we'll share a lot today, right? Right, so it gives me great pleasure to officially begin this by inviting the Executive Director of the Pan-African Climate Justice Alliance, Dr. Midhika Mwenda. So kindly, let's give him a round of applause as he comes on stage to welcome us. Welcome, Dr.
Thank you, Philip. What do you want? No, there are those guys still who are up there. Today we don't have that corner. When I left, is it a week ago or 2 weeks ago? I went to the diaspora. So the corner is still there. I can only choose 2 people. So good morning. Good morning, those at the back. Yes. What do you want? No, we said that is now after spending 2, you must be very fired up. So we said, we don't say climate justice, we say climate justice. So what do you want?
Climate justice.
When do you want it?
Now.
I believe that now you are graduates, now you are no longer freshmen and women. We are now moving now to the next level of influencing to our communities. But for this purpose, it's going to be a very brief exercise to roll out the 8th edition of the Africa Climate Change and Environmental Reporting Awards, an award scheme which we have designed to ensure that we promote African narratives on climate justice. And so it is a great pleasure to launch this initiative here. It is going to be to run up to September, maybe end of August, going to September, and we are going to have winners of this who will continue. Our advocacy comes into many ways, and as we just think about it, we believe that you, seated here from various countries, you will go and tell your journalist. And I'm very delighted that the last cohort have some of them and journalists, some of them were linked with the journalist. I was impressed yesterday to see someone from Eswatini, the kingdom of Eswatini, and written as a very good story in the national newspaper. Where is someone from Eswatini here? Ah, good. Let us appreciate her. In fact, the way they came, I saw an article that even them binding farewell in a newspaper, that it was reported in the whole country that they are joining the summer school. They were off. That was the title. That was very interesting. So I believe when you go back, you need to tell your country how you have seen, because while sitting here, you are the world. You are Africa. You are interacting with Africa. Go, and you don't need to be that journalist, conventional journalist. Journalism here even goes beyond that training. The gentleman who was standing here can be a journalist. Go and tell the stories. That communication is very important, because unless we communicate what we are saying, we are doing, then we are doing it to ourselves. I believe you, as our agents of change, need to tell our African narrative on what you think is climate justice, of what the challenges the communities go through to overcome, to challenge the conventional wisdom, to challenge the conventional ways of doing things. That is the change makers which we want, and that should be accompanied by storytelling, by that journalism. And we believe that not only will journalists be part of this, but we have also unconventional journalists, digital communicators who can benefit from this, and you can be part of that. So I think here is another opportunity for you. Even if it is not you, ensure, and we want you to promise us that in every country you are, when you arrive, you are going to propagate this award scheme. Tell your journalist that there is another opportunity. I am from Nairobi Summer School on Climate Justice, but the picture is not driven by only one initiative. Ours is initiative after initiative. So today is another one. So the launch of this edition then marks the start of intensive phase of action as journalists dust their articles and register their applications to be considered among equals for eventual winners of the Accer Awards. The final awarding under this edition will take place in Abidjan, Ivory Coast, on the sidelines of the Conference on Climate Change and Development in Africa, which will take place there alongside Africa Ministerial Conference on the Environment. I believe those who are from Ivory Coast and West Africa will be there. But you also have an opportunity also to join us there. We'll be monitoring your work. So if we believe that you have taken now translating what we are doing into that, into the work, into that change we want, you can be a delegate to Abidjan during the CCDA 12 and the Africa Ministerial Conference on the Environment. Since its inception in 2013, this remarkable Accer Awards, which actually we started, is one of our initiatives, has grown into a cornerstone of motivating, sustaining, and rewarding excellence in environmental and climate journalism, not only in Africa, but globally. Let me assure you that each iteration of the awards has built upon the last, pushing the boundaries of what it means to excel in reporting on climate change and strategically positioning African media to advance African narratives on climate change. This year's theme, Advancing Accountability for Adaptation Finance for Enhanced Resilience, Climate Justice and Equity, is not a theme. This mandates action. And action, we believe, is when it is reported. If you undertake an action and then keep it under your wraps, then that is not an action. It is a call for journalists to raise, to connect with global discourse in climate finance and advance an awakening in Africa that compels African leaders to act in unison in demanding accountability for climate financing from the global north in line with the Paris Agreement and also the Climate Change Convention. This theme challenges members of the fourth estate, that is journalists and media houses, to escalate their efforts in exposing gaps in accountability and transparency in the spirit of pushing parties to climate action to ensure that every dollar allocated for climate adaptation reaches those who need it most. And I'm sure in the process of this cohort 4, we have the financing locally led climate action. And in Kenya, we have that FLOCA, and you saw FLOCA coordinator here. And that's the spirit. We want to promote bottom up. We want to anchor this at the local level. We want the local journalists. In the very near future, we are going to ensure that we bring also, apart from now this, the international language, English and French, which is the two languages we deliver these Accer Awards. We'll explore to see how you here are going to drive these awards in the local language, because majority of the people are speaking at your local. If you want to impact the local, we need really to identify with communities. So most communities, they speak local languages. So we want to see how we can promote local indigenous language, the media, community media, but that is going to come at that local level. And we are just exploring how we are going to do that. The power of journalists lies in its ability to shape narratives and transform society. Through Accer Awards, we celebrate journalists who dare to ask hard questions and seek out hidden answers. This year, we delve into the theme of climate finance, challenging to journalists to probe even deeper into the intricacies of climate finance flow, and if at all the funding is reaching the front line. Whom benefits, for instance, from these funds remains the most central question, and so are innovative ways and initiatives for reaching the communities most vulnerable to climate change. We seek to expose the hypocrisy of the developed countries in meeting their commitments areas where Africa is shortchanged in access to climate finance, and bureaucratic red tape and inefficiencies that constrain access. The inquiry cannot stop at tracking the flow. The media has a role to highlight successes in the spirit of promoting best practices, and so are issues of inequity and disparities in and across countries, more so that deserve that money. By challenging journalists to explore these narratives, we aim to illuminate the realities that define how an effective financing mechanism for adaptation should look like. Colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, journalism transcends its role as a mere conveyor of information, and it becomes a pivotal force in shaping policy and directing public attention to where it is most needed. It compels policymakers, stakeholders, and the global community to reevaluate their strategies and commitments towards a more equitable distribution of resources. My happiness and gratitude as we launch this call in the contribution of the fourth cohort of the Nairobi Summer School to this course. In this cohort journalists, young journalists were trained adding impetus to climate justice reporting across Africa. You are the next generation of change agents who will carry forward the torch of accountability and equity in climate adaptation efforts. And when I was going, we were talking about the Generation Z. Are you still there, Gen Z? Yes. Are you there? Yes. You see how powerful you are. You can even compel anyone to salute you and say, yes, because we are you don't mince words. You know, our generation was just saying, you know, cutting corners. You say you are straight. You are the president and you have to do this. To our dedicated partners, your steadfast dedication and engagement have been a cornerstone of the Accer Awards success of the years. And for this, I will not be tired to acknowledge the support you have received from the Swedish International Development Agency of the government of Sweden and the Dutch government, who have really supported this initiative for a long time. There are also other partners, and we are getting more, and we welcome others to be part of this as we close to a decade of good work and promoting that, cloud. We have generated, an alumni of journalists who have really changed and transformed the way things are, the way things should be in this continent. We sincerely thank you for your past support and eagerly invite you to join us again in this impactful journey. Let's continue to champion the stories that need to be told and support the journalists who tell them, fostering a world where equity and justice in climate action are not just ideals, but realities. And you have seen that reality. It is in you. You live that life, and you continue living that life. To our African journalists, thank you for your relentless pursuit of these stories and what matters for us in Africa. As we embark on this 8th edition of this awards scheme, I warmly invite you to continue this journey with us. Your work does more than inform. It sparks change and gives voice to those often left unheard. Let's deepen our impact, turning our focus towards narratives that not only report, but also reshape our world into one that's more just and resilient. Now, let us all wield the power of the pen to illuminate truths and forge pathways towards a more equitable future, because when we speak truth to power, change is not just possible, but it becomes inevitable. Thank you very much, and may God bless you. And I believe that when history is written, the history of Accer Awards will gain one paragraph or one chapter in that history. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Philip.
Thank you, Dr. Mithika, for those wonderful opening remarks. I think the message is clear. Tell a friend to tell a friend to. Tell a friend to tell a friend to. Because I think you rightfully put it, we need to connect to our grassroots, because those stories are the ones you want to tell. So as you go back home, I hope you take that challenge on to share this message in those platforms that you engage in. All right? So our friends who just joined us, welcome. We're glad to have you on board. Bonjour. Bom dia. Watu wangu wa nguvu ni aje? You're still awake, I can see. All right. So we have another guest speaker online. David, just check for me if he's okay. We'll want to welcome Mr. Isaiah Esipisu to give us his opening remarks. Mr. Esipisu, if you can hear me, please go ahead and address the audience.
Okay, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. I'll take just about 2 minutes to talk about the Pan-African Media Alliance for Climate Change. I hope the slide is up. Hello?
Okay, they're just coming up. David, if you can support me with that.
Okay, once it's up, please let me know.
Okay, no problem. You'll be able to see it on your screen as well.
Okay.
Okay. As that's coming up, we want to welcome our guests who are just arriving. Please settle in. Okay. We are good to go, Mr. Esipisu.
Thank you very much. So, Pan-African Media Alliance for Climate Change, also known as PAMAC, is a product of the Accer Awards. So let me take a few moments to talk about it. So who is this PAMAC? PAMAC is a network of journalists who are interested in reporting on matters to do with climate change. And this includes practicing journalists in the continent, freelance reporters, communication officers, as well as content creators. Next slide, please. Thank you. So let me talk about our journey. PAMAC was founded on the eve of World Environment Day in 2013 by those who participated in the inaugural Accer Awards, which was held here in Nairobi, and it was hosted by PACJA. So the leadership then decided to put up an online platform, which was a simple blog, so that we can publish those articles that did not find space in the mainstream media. But in 2015, PACJA found it fit to help us put up a website, and we came up with a news website called pamac.org. You can see it on the screen, and please feel free to visit that website. In 2017, the network was officially registered as a media trust under the laws of Kenya, and we have trustees drawn from East African region, Central, South, and also West African region. Next slide, please. Next slide, thank you. So what is our role? Our role is very simple: to inform the public about scientific findings and policies related to climate change, to hold governments and corporations accountable, to raise awareness about local and global climate issues. Next, please. Okay, how do we approach this? As I said, PAMAC members, all PAMAC members are practicing journalists in different African countries, where their primary role is to report on climate change. So for those stories that don't find space in their media houses, then we publish them on our PAMAC website to ensure that no story is left behind, because we believe all stories are important, but editors sometimes do not take everything. So we also use our social media handles on X, the former Twitter, and Facebook to propel some of the key messages. We also have WhatsApp groups, one for English-speaking journalists and another one for French-speaking journalists, where we discuss key issues apart from sharing current affairs, new studies and researches, and emerging opportunities across the continent. We also use art. We are collaborating with an organization called Rescope to help schools use poetry, choral verses, music to propel key climate change messages. And we have also composed some songs. You can find them on the website. I may share that later. Next slide, please. So let me talk about our achievements. Our website has been recognized by different organizations, and I've seen so many journalists who have won some fellowships, having our website as the key recipient or the official website to publish those stories that are emanating from those fellowships. So based on our work, our Central Africa Regional Coordinator, Mr. Elias Ngalame, has been appointed to serve on the board of the Africa Forest Forum. And also UNFCCC has recognized PAMAC as an important media outlet. We get accreditation straight as PAMAC delegation, and whenever we have a serious conference like COPS, UNFCCC always gives us a cubicle complete with the screens and spaces to work where our journalists always sit and do their work. There are many others, so I will not go into much because in the interest of time. So I will stop there for now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Esipisu, for those remarks. Now that we know about PAMAC, let me have another quick check. What does ACER stand for? A stands for? Because we're just about to do something very important. We're not going to launch something you don't know about. A stands for? C? The other C? The E? Okay, Dr. I think you said something here. You must have been a very good expert in noticing backbenchers. They're doing what you said. What is climate? What do we want? A stands for? C stands for? C stands for? E? R? Okay, so we just want to launch officially. So I'll ask you to help us do it in a very unique way today because we want to capture a moment, all right? We want to capture this moment because we want to go back to our communities, connect with the grassroots. So I'll request you, David, just indicate to me if the video is ready. Yes? So we do this. I'll ask us to stand. Take out your phone. Put it on selfie mode. You can do a video or you can do a photo, whatever it is that you want. And we do the countdown together. But because we're going to the grassroots, you'll do the countdown in your local language. All right? We'll do the countdown in your local language. Okay. Here we go. So we're going to do it differently. Okay? Are you on selfie mode? If someone next to you is not on their phone, tell them, wake up. Wake up. Okay, so do this. Because we want to keep souvenirs, your phone, give it to your neighbor. Give it to your neighbor. Give it to your neighbor. We're keeping a souvenir. They took that photo of you. It's not your selfie. You can choose. If you want a video, how do you want to capture the moment? Photo, we're capturing this moment, so you choose. Because all of us have the same, it's one picture of the entire room. So if you're ready, you let me know. David, are we good with the launch video? We are good, okay. Remember, we are counting down in your local language. We are counting down in your local language. So watch the screens, prepare. Okay, can we start? In your local language, let's go in 1, 2, 3. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yay! What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? Viva, comrades, viva! Viva Africa, viva! Viva, comrades, viva! Thank you very much.
In Africa's heart, a call resounds. A cry for justice where hope abounds.
You can take your seat.
Welcome to the 8th African Climate Change and Environmental Awards, where the ACCER Awards spark change. This year, we delve into adaptation finance, seeking to understand where the funds go and who benefits. Journalists uncover the truth with courage, shedding light on finance and justice, championing African narrative. Where does the money go? Who benefits? Or is it caught in bureaucratic red tape and inefficiencies? The ACCER Awards proudly declare, together, in justice's name, we rise.
Thank you everybody for capturing the moment. So we rely on you to share this across all platforms. Okay. How are you feeling? Are you feeling powered up? Okay, Dr. is saying we send it to our platforms.
The one which we are sharing information. Let's see how many are people, and then we can send it to our media, our
All right. But I have some breaking news. Due to popular demand, I'm told we need to repeat this exercise. All in favor say aye. Aye. All not in favor say nay. Oh. The ayes have it, right? Okay, so shall we do it again? Shall we do it again? With more power and pomp? With some swag? So that our grandmothers and our grandfathers can hear us from their villages, no? Okay. So on your feet again, let's do it again. Don't miss the moment. Don't miss the moment. Okay. Yes, no. No, now stay with your phone. You can put all the filters, all the things that you really like, all right? Take a video, take a selfie, whatever it is. So, but this time round, please, as we're counting down, remember we're taking all these messages to our grassroots, to our villages, all right? I didn't hear your countdown. Okay. 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 Are we ready? Are we ready? Okay. I'm being told by our digital guru, remember her, Jennifer, she says, clean your camera, please. We want good photos. Ukae vizuri. We want you to look good. Clean the lens of your camera nicely. All right? Okay. Okay. So I'm going to give the countdown in 3, 2, 1. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yay! What do we want? When do we want it? Now. What do we want? When do we want it? Now. Viva, comrades, viva! Viva Africa, viva! Viva Summer School, viva! Yay! Awesome, awesome, awesome.
In Africa's heart, a call resounds.
We are repeating everything.
A cry for justice where hope abounds.
As you settle down to share, please.
Welcome to the 8th African Climate Change and Environmental
Share the
Awards,
video on your platforms. Share, like, comment. Follow,
where the ACCER Awards spark change.
We'll share the
This year, we delve into adaptation finance,
share on your
seeking to
platform.
understand where the funds go and who benefits.
Share everywhere.
Journalists uncover the truth with courage, shedding light on finance and justice, championing African narrative. Where does the money go? Who benefits? Or is it caught in bureaucratic red tape and inefficiencies? The ACCER Awards proudly declare, together, in justice's name, we rise.
A big hand to all of us once more for. Thank you, colleagues. So we'll move on quickly to the next part of the program. Allow me to call my friend and my brother Julius Karanja to come on stage to share with us your comments for the day. Welcome, Julius. Let's give him an applause as he comes on stage.
Good morning, everybody. Are you not energized? Yeah. Amazing. Thank you. All protocol observed. PACJA leadership, thank you for the opportunity to give some few remarks on climate finance. Dr. Mifika, we appreciate you. We appreciate you, Charles, and all the PACJA staff team. Why don't we give them a clap, a round of applause, please, for the amazing work that they continually do for the continent. Friends, it's a climate finance year. It's 2024 climate finance year. That's what the world is looking at. Why is it important? Because without money, you can't implement climate action. So there's no climate action without money. There's no climate action without finance. And so the first message of this session is that the stories our journalists will be putting out there must demonstrate the extent of the climate change needs that we have in this continent. Do you agree with me? We have immense climate change needs in this continent, but also in the developing world. And so we want to see stories that show the world just how much money we need to address climate change injustices in the parts of our countries that we live in our communities, in our regions, in the developing world, because we are saying climate finance is a prerequisite for climate action. And so let me give you some figures so that we just put this into perspective. For developing countries, the global south, to implement their nationally determined contributions, they need between $5.8 to $5.9 trillion until 2030. All right? If you put adaptation into perspective, we would need, from the UNEP gap report, about $217 billion to 379 or 389, just to be specific, 87, just to be specific, dollars per year. And so we are looking at a very huge need. Loss and damage, $450 billion, and these are very reservist figures by 2030 every year. Yet, what are we seeing right now? The 100 billion goal is not yet met. We've heard that developed countries are saying that it is about to be met in 2022 figures, if you look at the statistics. But as we stand there saying they are at about $91 billion. However, the message is clear. And I would want Brian to stand up at this point. The message is very clear. They have not delivered their 100 billion. They have not delivered their promises. So we would want to see stories that actually tell the world that there's a huge shortfall between 2009, that's 2009 when the 100 billion was agreed, and now. So we do not have the 100 billion. If you do 100 billion times 10 years, how much do you get? An average of 1 trillion, right? We are now at 91 billion US dollars. So who is failing us? Who is faulting their commitments? That has to be said. It is not met, there are shortfalls, and we have to demonstrate that the needs are more than the finance provided or claimed to be provided. Thank you, Brian. Now, friends, we'll be talking about something very powerful this year, and it's a new collective quantified goal, and I know you've talked about it. So it's a goal that should set the standards of how we operate in a new climate finance regime. And so this goal has to have the messaging, the realities, and the aspirations of the African continent at the heart of it. So when we're thinking about the number, the quantum, we start looking at what our leadership is saying. And Africa is saying that we need $1.3 trillion per year by 2030 if we are to address our needs as an African continent, but also as a global community, our climate change needs. Yet, what are we seeing happening in the continent of Africa? 60% of our countries are in debt distress or are at the risk of fiscal shortfalls because of debt burden. 19 of those countries, we know them very well. Why is this the case? Because even climate finance is being provided as loans, market rate loans. So the narrative is changing. Actually, developed countries are gaining from loans from climate finance. On our backs. They provide climate finance to us, we repay as loans, and the benefit is back to them. Let me give you some very, very interesting figures. As we stand now from a report, we have $18 billion of gain to developed countries from climate finance they have provided to some of the countries in this continent. $18 billion. Look at the Reuters report. Yet when we demand climate justice, they want to shift the goalpost. They want to say it's about domestic financing. They want us to look at how we start supporting our own climate action. But who speaks for this continent if it's not the African people, if it's not the African young people? Who says enough is enough with the austerity measures of the IMF? Enough is enough with business as usual, giving us market rate loans to address a problem we never even caused in the first place. It is us. And in this moment, the Accer Awards has got that unique opportunity to not only drive public discourse, but also shape public opinion. Because at times, the only message that our friends hear and appreciate is that within the public discourse. We have to speak truth to power, but we have to also elevate stories that understand, appreciate, and confirm our realities and messaging as an African continent. As I finish, colleagues, climate finance is not just about the money. It's not about the figure. It's not about the figures we are quoting. I know they're important. But it's also about how this finance is engineered. Is it fair finance? And I'd like Ruth to stand up at this moment. Is this fair finance? Is this finance that actually, if you think about how it honors the needs of communities and the public, one that is embedded on the public nature of the commitments that are being honored? So as they honor the finance commitments, we don't just want them to give us any kind of finance. Thank you, Ruth. We want them to give us finance that looks at our needs. We need grants, absolutely. For what exactly? Adaptation. Mary, where is Mary? We need grants for adaptation. We need money for loss and damage. We need concessional financing, not market rate loans, for some needs specifically in the context of adaptation. Thank you, Mary. And we need a finance at scale from the public. At the same time, we also need to see where this money goes. So every $1 has to have an impact at the community level. But we also have to see where it's coming from. So don't shift the burden to the private sector. Private sector wants profit and profit alone. We need the public finance to go where the private sector can never go. And that's the adaptation and loss and damage finance. So as we launch the Accer Awards, we have to completely live and speak and share the African story. We need this story if we are to make progress in COP29. Because we'll be asked, why do you need $1.something trillion? And we will say, that's even actually not enough. We are being conservative. You've faulted. We are no longer willing to condone faults. In the context of the doubling adaptation finance, because we have a commitment right now, we'll be seeing a report coming at COP29. And adaptation is crucial for us. It's a lifeline for communities in Africa. So we just don't want to hear about additional pledges if you're not accounting for the pledges that you have not demonstrated delivery on. Our message has to be clear, friends. We are not standing against powers that understand conventional language. We also have to be crazy in our thinking. We have to ignite our energies, combine journalism with technical prowess, with political engagement, if we are to change or topple over the realities that we are in as a continent. What do we want? When do we want it? Now. Let me put on my activism spirit. What do we want? When do we want it? Now. It's time for the Accer Award, and Accer Award has to demonstrate just how people are struggling, but also the extent of finance needed, and importantly, tell the world that African resources, the natural capital of these resources, belong to Africa, and we have a huge say on this table. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Julius. I think you can give him a better hand than that. So those who are asking, you can see how he gets when he's in the negotiation rooms. Then when the spirit takes over, you can see how he becomes when the spirit took over. Okay? Right, thank you. And I think the message is still very clear. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell her. I hope you're doing that and sharing this on your platforms and connecting on the hashtags and tagging. We need to tell these stories to our grassroots. You're journalists yourselves. I didn't even know I'm sitting next to one here, just from Chuka. Please just wave to the audience. And he's telling me, he's from Chuka. He's from Chuka University. He's telling me he wants to, he must be part of this. He wants to apply. So if he wants to apply already, I hope you're inspired to apply. Tell your amazing stories to the world, all right? Okay, my brother Fidel, kindly come on stage. I know you have a lot to share with us. So I'll hand over. Yes, you can give him a hand. And just to know that Fidel works with the communication team. So he's a brilliant guy in terms of branding. Can you see the outfit is matching with some of what you're wearing? It's called color coordination. Okay. Fidel, please.
Thank you, Philip. Thank you, everyone. And I think this is a good start, and we are moving forward, and we shall not stop. Even next year and after next year, we shall still communicate about our needs, our expectations from the global north on how we need to be financed. This year is about climate finance. And I'm going to take you through the historical background, the brief about the Accer Awards and how it has started, the impact it has been making, the achievement, and now the process for this edition. Briefly, as an overview of these awards, African Climate Change and Environmental Reporting Awards, this, as it has been mentioned, it has started in 2013, and the main objective was to recognize exceptional journalism that highlights climate change and environmental issues in Africa. And these awards celebrate journalists who are outstanding out there in the community, and we always feel their value in what we do and also what they are doing to make sure our stories are known by everyone. We had objectives when we started this initiative in 2013. Number one was to circulate the African narrative on climate change, environmental discourse, and also to motivate journalists and media houses in Africa to report objectively and effectively on climate change and environmental issues in Africa. The other objective was to highlight the best practices in policy and responses to climate change and also to encourage proactive media participation in Africa climate change discourse. Initially, media, I remember when I was a journalist, the first time I interacted with the climate change, it looked like mathematics to me. But the more you interact with the climate change, the more you attend different events, the more you understand. And when a journalist understands such, climate change, it will be easier for him to translate that message to lay citizens, lay community members who may not understand the concept. One of our achievements, we don't have one achievement, we have several achievements, and I think the first achievement was the launch of this initiative our friend Isaiah has spoken about, the PAMAC. But the awards were launched in that year, as I have said, and from that time we received more than 7,600 applications, and also we were able to award 112 journalists from across 3 countries in Africa. But also we had advancement of African narrative and discourses in climate diplomacy because of people we have awarded and building their capacity. The awards have fostered a community of journalists and media houses committed to reporting on climate change consistently through PAMAC. As I have mentioned, across the continent, we have many journalists who are part or are members to this network in different languages and different geographic locations. That is the best of our achievement you have had. And through this initiative, the awards have contributed to increasing awareness and understanding of climate change issues within African societies and among diverse stakeholders on the continent. We've been working based on different themes, but this year we have different sub-themes, but the main theme is advancing for accountability in a climate landscape for climate justice and equity. And we want to spotlight and encourage journalists for their excellency in reporting the matters related to climate finance. This year, we want to emphasize the need for transparency and innovation in climate finance. And we want to elevate discourses and drive effective actions that ensure climate justice and equity across the continent. We went through different sessions these 2 weeks, and climate finance has been coming back. So this is our turn as a journalist to make sure we peg climate finance reporting for this edition. We have a rationale. First of all, we are looking at climate change. We are escalating climate challenges that call for action, climate action, supported with the climate finance that is following to scale and speed. The delay in respecting commitments made, the little money that is flowing, and we don't know where it is going. We need to look at those challenges. This year, as it has been mentioned, it is a year of climate finance, be at the level of Africa group of negotiators or this upcoming COP29 in Baku. This is a year of climate finance. So it's a focus of Africa group of negotiators, but also it is a focus of COP29, which is coming toward the end of this year. We want to look at the climate finance impact at the front line. Experts pressure on rhetorics that characterize climate landscape and also impede flow of resources to the frontline communities. Apart from the main theme that I've shared with you, we have sub-themes. We want to focus on adaptation financing gap in Africa. We want to look at greater accountability for climate funds in African countries. We want also to look at making information on climate finance accessible and palatable for most impacted communities. We have a lot happening on the grassroots, but they are not reported. How are we going to foster that kind of reporting and work in a synergy? We want to scrutinize the role of private investment in climate finance. The more you want to develop, the more you kill innocent souls. How can we involve private investment and make sure they play a greater role in climate finance? Climate finance and human rights violation is at the center of some themes we are going to focus on this year. Because when there is inequity, there's violence against human rights. That is, you cannot discuss about that because it's right. We want to evaluate international support mechanisms, looking at effectiveness of the efforts and agreements in supporting Africans' climate action. That is part of our sub-themes this year. We cannot have these awards without objectives. Apart from the overall objectives, we have an objective for this year. And the main goal for this edition is to elevate the discourse around climate finances in Africa by ensuring it drives the real and equitable improvement in climate resilience. Specifically, we want to eliminate climate finance gaps and opportunities by highlighting the critical climate finance needs and gaps on the continent by focusing on adaptation, mitigation, and loss and damage reparations. We want to unpack innovations in climate finance. We want to influence policies and practices. We want to promote stakeholder engagement in dialogues. And we want to enhance journalists' capacities. Before we award the winners, we build their capacity, and normally it takes between 2 and 3 days. So this is our role as Pan-African Climate Justice Alliance to make sure we develop. We don't build capacity. Already, journalists, you have capacity. We develop your capacity, and we help one another. So that is part of our specific objective this year. We want also to look at the North-South solidarity. You cannot win any war without supporters. And the Global South will never work alone if there's no the Global North that we are holding accountable to what is happening on the continent. We have different categories this year, and I think this is the best section for all of us to look at, because apart from journalists who are here and those who are following us online, we have also the other category. Everyone here can participate. And I think Dr. Mithika said everyone is a journalist, and the communication is about the exchange, and information is key. You can't do anything without information. So this year we're going to award the best climate change coverage in print media. The second category is the climate change coverage in broadcast media, be it TV or radios. We have the award for the best investigative journalism on climate change. For those who are opinion writers, we have award for opinion and commentary on climate change. We have the award for coverage of local climate change issues. We know we have grassroots community radios, and as there has been said, they focus on local languages, and they have communities who are going through a lot. So we have that category for those who have covered stories around that topic or theme. We have the other category about the data in climate change reporting. It's not about talking. It's not about shooting a video or getting a photo. It must have data. As if you remember during our presentation about advocacy, we insist on data, the use of data and the facts during when we are advocating. So journalists who are reporting on based on data in climate change reporting, please feel free. We have that category for you. Now, for all of us here and those who are following us online and those maybe who will learn about this, we have the last category, which is about young digital activists. But digital activists, you may not be young, but still activists, and they were in the space of climate change. That you don't need to be reporting of working for any media house, as long as you are involved in climate change activism, climate justice activism, please feel free. We have 3 languages, and this is what we last 2 years, because the last edition was in 2022 in Kigali on the sidelines of Chogam. We normally accept submission or applications in 3 languages. Those are English, French, and Portuguese. So these are languages we are expecting submission or application in those 3 languages. The calendar. The submission starts today until August 6, 2024. Selection or shortlisting of successful applicants will be in August on 18th, and we want to announce those who shall be selected by August 22nd. And then for those who will not make it, we share feedback, because it's part of communication. And we, as I've said, we are going to train those who will be selected between the 3rd September and 6th September on the sidelines of CCDA and AMSEN in Abidjan. That's when the award ceremonies will take place. What is the process of submission? First of all, for registration, journalists interested in participating must register through Accer Awards official website, www.accer.org, and there is a form. You shall put everything which is required to put there, including attachment and everything, and then you submit. Participants must submit their entry electronically via the Accer Award portal, and each entry should include the journalist's work, articles, videos, and others, a brief description, and other supporting documents verifying the work's publication or broadcast between the eligible dates. The eligible dates is between the eligible date for publication. You must have published your product, your stories, your article between May 9th, 2022 to June 30th this year. This is clear. And after this, we shall share the brief about this for all platforms so that you understand. Submission, again, the deadline compliance. All entries must be submitted by announced deadline with no extension provided, except we have some other exceptions. And also, when you submit, you get an automated message informing you that you have successfully submitted. We shall look at different criteria. We have evaluation, and there is a committee. So during evaluation, we shall be looking at the relevance of the theme or sub-themes, the way I stated. We shall be looking at the journalistic excellence, where entries will be evaluated on journalistic standards, including accuracy, clarity, originality, and ethical in reporting. We shall look at the impact that your reporting has made in public understanding or policy change regarding climate finance. We shall look at innovation and the creativity you have put into your reporting by using innovative reporting techniques or technologies, creative approaches to storytelling, the ability to present complex information in an accessible way. We are looking at data utilization. There's no plagiarism. You need to have reference. Effective use of data and evidence to support the narrative is the key when we are evaluating. We are going to look at the quality of presentation, the way you have presented the facts. For broadcast media, the quality of production, be audio for radio and video for TV, will be considered the quality. So the bra video or maybe some fun photos or videos, we shall look at it during the evaluation. And for written pieces, the quality of writing, the coherence, and the logical flow of argument will be evaluated. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup à tous et à tous. This is in English. We shall put in French and Portuguese if possible, and we shall share widely for everyone to understand better. Any point for clarification before I leave the stage? Well.
Okay. Any questions? Thank you, Fidel. We're also asking our summer school journalists to please stand, our young digital activists, if you're in the room. Anyone? I see one over there. Anyone? Only one, two, okay, three, okay, they're popping up, four. You have a question? Or you're nominating yourself to be a journalist? How many do we have? Only four? No, we actually have those who've been writing stories for us. You can see them. They're standing. We also want to take a few comments. So as Fidel is saying, do you have any points that you need him to clarify? Is everything clear?
Online, we have a question. And
online, there's a question. Okay, go ahead, David. Well, let's start with the online first, because we haven't had a chance to listen to them.
Can a media house, print or online, specialized in reporting climate change, also submit their work? Also, we have a hand from Elias. Elias, please go ahead.
Please come again. Can you repeat?
Repeat the first question, David, please.
Question. Can a media house, that is print or online, specialists in reporting climate change, also submit their work?
I think we don't have a category for media houses. We are encouraging individuals, because even the media house has journalists reporting. And I think by submitting, you submit any story that was published through your media house. So for this time around, we don't have that category I've seen. We stick to individuals who have been. You maybe worked as a team, for example, the duo, writing a piece or something. That still stands as one submission.
Thank you. There is a hand from Elias. Elias, if you can hear us, please go ahead.
Yes. Hello?
Yes. Can I hear you?
Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. No, that was a question I wanted to. I was the one who asked the question whether a media house that is specialized in climate change and environment reporting can also submit. But you answered it. You answered that well. So it's okay.
Okay. Thank you, Elias. There's someone.
All right. Yes. You have the mic. Ask your question. Okay. I'll come to you. Okay.
My name is Brian Wandera, Chuka University. My question is for those students who want to participate in the awards, what's the criteria for them?
The criteria you are part of, if you are not a journalist?
Yeah, I'm not yet. I'm a journalist.
We have the last category.
Journalist.
We have the last category. And I want to insist on this because all of us, we are activists, right?
Yes.
We have the last category, and that is not for journalists only. It's for activists, young digital activists. I've been seeing people posting around the different issues related to climate change. You are activists. So you are most welcome to apply. We shall be looking at different, how you are making impact. You've seen my presentation, the way we are focusing on this year. So there is last category for a lot of us, including me. Including me. So for all activists, the last category, the young digital, don't feel young. Even if you are 100 years old, but you feel you are activist, please feel free to apply. So it's about activists, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, there's a mic down there. Please go ahead.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Zamzam Bonara. Thank you for the presentation on the opportunities that are there for us. My question is, you mentioned that for the eligibility criteria, the coverages or something, they should be from the respective dates. They should have been published in those respective dates. So what happens if you have not published them in the local mainstream media and you've been using channels like WhatsApp? Does that mean you're not eligible?
You are not eligible. We are looking at those time frame.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
And Fidel, let's stick to journalists, members of Fourth Estate. Those questions we are inviting are just strictly for members of Fourth Estate, not each and everyone, members of Fourth Estate only, because Accer Award, that's where we are focusing. Thanks.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Meyan. I come from Kajiado. I am a multimedia journalist. So I was asking, is it open for multimedia journalism? Like I can do a documentary in video, I still do it in audio, I still do it in print.
You choose one of them and it is eligible. It's accepted.
Okay, another question is, now that maybe the timeline to submit our stories is over.
No.
When next? Okay, like for me, I've not published my story yet. So when are you having the next submission? Like
this happens every 2 years. So if we are not in that time frame we have announced, then we have to wait for the next edition.
Another question is, to who am I pitching my story? Like, is there anybody that I'm going to send my story so that they...
When it is announced, there's a portal that we have displayed. That's where the form is. Everything is there, so you go through that. But since you have not published during that time frame, then the other edition. And thank you. If there's another journalist, let's
Thank you. Thank you so much for answering.
Thank you very much. Well, my name is Abubakar Kruma from Liberia. So my question is about the legalization. Is it restricted to journalists or media practitioners that are fully registered, or it is open to everybody? Thank you.
Can I? So
stand up so that I see you.
I'm just going to take 1 minute to explain very well why we're insisting on the young digital activist. The thought behind this very specific categories is because we were trying to also involve young alumni who are very active on social media. You're very active on climate, advocacy through digital platform, like for example Twitter, or you use Tumblr, or you have like your own website where you also discuss matters of climate justice. You have your own actions going online, and this is actually a space where you can submit your profile, your handles. So when you go into the form, where if you are interested, again, you have to be very active because this category is very competitive. It's up to you to go to the form, just share your handles, and then in the brief description, just describe what you have been doing, what was your action, the countries where you've been. And I want to emphasize also that the previous winners of the Young Digital Activist were all alumni from the summer school. So we actually even deliberately, I would say, consider more the people who have been attending Nairobi Summer School. So I encourage all of you to go there if you're already working on, climate advocacy using the digital platforms, to go there and apply. Thank you so much.
Before last year, we had a young man, I will not mention his name, but definitely he came to Nairobi Summer School. I'll not mention his name. For me, because I'm very interactive with social media, I used to see how we used to engage different, community members on issues related to climate change. When we announced Nairobi Summer School Quarter 3, he was interested. But when you go out there and you see what he does on the ground, and the public, the audience he has, it's amazing. I think that's what my colleague Jennifer was talking about. Please, I know you are very active, and feel free. What you put in the form is just a handle, and it's up to us to follow and see what you post out there. If you mix sports, politics, and climate change, you remember the language I talked about last time. We may miss what you are doing on the ground. There's some, is there any question I have not responded?
Yep.
Someone talked about legalization. I think if you are a journalist, you are recognized in your country. And we're talking about a journalist. Yes. If you are not part of a journalist and then you are activist, and the state can fall in any category of the two we mentioned. Thank you.
Okay, all right. A big hand to Fidel for that presentation. I think it's very clear what we need to do. Thank you so much, Fidel. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being such a lovely audience. Allow me, I'm informed you're running out of time. We need to move to the next part of the program. But I just want to say, even at the launch of these Accer Awards, we believe in you. We want you to go and tell those stories and pick out those stories. So we're looking forward to hearing your stories and the impact of your stories across Africa. All right? Viva, comrades, viva. Viva. Thank you. I'll call upon Mr. Kilonzo from PACJA to guide us in the next stage of the program. Thank you.
Good morning once more. Time is fast spent. We have a time date. We are not taking a tea break. We are taking an health break of 10 minutes, strictly 10 minutes, and we reconverge for the closing ceremony. Okay? 10 minutes, health break, and we reconverge for the closing ceremony. Thanks.